You know, white supremacist violence in this modern age is nothing new. People like to say a lot about how um, it's a guy I work with. I guess he heard me talking on the phone, and I was referring to this thing in Michigan. People were spitting in the police's faces and carrying guns, busting up in the state house, and all this. And I said how black folks couldn't get away with it. I guess he was trying to talk back or make a statement. I ignored him. The guy's an idiot. But I remember even back with the Bundy standoff, Alex Jones was talking about how it's 1776 again, and how they were pointing guns at the border, the BLM, Building and Land Management, I believe it's what it's called. It's a federal agents. They were pointing guns at them, pointing guns at the feds pointing guns at them. I remember thinking back then about, and no one really responded. I remember thinking back then, black people couldn't do this. Black could not walk out here and point guns at the police. Period. I don't care if it was an 80-year-old black, no. I don't care, no, man, black people couldn't do that. Period. Fuck that bullshit. And so, in a way, they were flaunting their privilege with these protests, with the quarantine. This was not about the quarantine. This is about them being pro-Trump and wanting everything Trump to do, he's done to win, and the fact that it's pandemic. See, it's like they're personally invested in Trump's success or failure. Like, I wasn't personally invested in Obama. If Obama tried to do something, it didn't work out, I didn't lose sleep about it. I wasn't up. I wanted Obama. No. I don't think any other black people were either. Maybe, other than, people, maybe Cornel West, people like that who were paying attention. They're physically invested in that. And that's why they always have to threaten violence. Any kind of quarantine, any kind of government controls, they have to threaten violence. Violence comes up. They can't even pretend to go along with the system, even when their guy's in office, because they want him to win. It's not like Trump does things and they're going to see how it falls, and, well, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. No, they want Trump's stuff to work so badly, they're willing to kill, be arrested, or catch an incurable disease to ensure Trump's actions happen, whether it's good or bad. That's sick. That's a real. That's why I say I hope this thing spreads and kills a lot of them off, because we got a problem in America. Black people aren't ready. Black people don't even want to be ready. Black people just want to. They're not ready. Whether it was a Bundy standoff, or Charlottesville, or these other associated incidents of white men walking around with rifles near malls and stuff. I'm not even talking about white supremacist violence. I'm just talking about them exhibiting weapons and them engaging in indirect action. America's got a real problem. And I think the whole world is beginning to see that. America's got a real... We are not one country. We are not one country. It's them and it's everybody else. And you see it living in the South. Maybe you don't see it other places. You see, America's got a big and what Trump has done from day one is to downplay it. Trump has done nothing. I want to be clear. Trump has done nothing to respond to it. Nothing. It's just like with the deaths. Trump's just like, well, maybe nobody sees it. Maybe most folks don't. Maybe most blacks don't see it. But America's got a real problem. And I watching something, it came to me, something I always think about, that I wish they would try to attack the military, some National Guard group, how they would get decimated. And I know people, white folks, say, well, we're on Trump's side and all this. I said it before the pandemic, what happened, and it makes more sense now. I said that if there was a disaster... See, white folks always want to go to guns being disarmed. White folks don't never want to look at other emergencies that might lead to that coming up. It would be like if I'm gonna go fuck somebody up, but I don't want to talk about what led up to me needing to do that. I owe them money, or I done something to them. That's what white folks do. That's why all those stories I used to read that was a big part of the plot, was them disarming, taking guns away. Now, I've said it before the pandemic, that if that kind of incident happened, it has to be something pretty serious to lead up to it. Now we're in a pandemic, and over 80,000 people have died of this. I think we're going to have hundreds of thousands of people are going to die behind this before it's over with. Spreading in other countries. There's been this whole... Since they reopened things, nobody's taking this seriously. People take it less seriously now than did before. We're on our own. And I was saying before this happened that if it's a major disaster, and I think I mentioned a global depression or some kind of major disease, I think I did say that. I mentioned that. Why would people who have a good job fuck that up just to get put in a stockade or something? Let me clarify that. If COVID-19 mutates in the fall, and it's a 1918 epidemic, and these rednecks start dying, because I believe it's going to spread in the small counties. I believe that what they did was a mistake, that rednecks could have just stayed put and be like, yeah, the cities are going to die, all the gays. But now they're going to bring it back to their communities, which are living 20, 30 years in the past anyway. Don't have money for medical stuff. They don't have hospitals. They don't have that. So a lot of them are going to die. The second wave, I think, that's where it's going to really happen. The small areas are going to really get hit hard. If that happens, and when I said that, I wasn't even looking at 30 million people out of work. See, it's worse than I thought. This is another example of it being worse than I said it would be. I was just saying something bad. But okay, let's go down the numbers. If you got a 25% unemployment rate out there, let's say it comes back in the fall, Trump is still president, and Trump wants to try to still downplay it and act like it's not a big deal. There was a National Guardman that died in Jersey of this, by the way. These National Guardmen, I think they will need to bring in active duty troops, or to have to shift around National Guardmen to deal with what's coming. Just hear me out. I think they have to do that. They're going to see the bodies, and they're going to see what's going on. They're not going to be like sitting somewhere listening to InfoWars. Well, it's not the big deal. No, you're seeing it. And they're also seeing the protesters protesting about haircuts and other crap like that. It means nothing. If you're in that position, you're a National Guardman, you're seeing the bodies, you're carrying the bodies out, you're helping to bury the bodies, why would you risk? It wouldn't be a good job, but you're risking your GI Bill, you're risking your benefits, you're risking a job, good health care. You're risking all of that to do something for a militia group. They're going to lock you up, put you in a military prison somewhere. You're going to lose everything you work for, everything. They're going to make an example of you. You may not care. They're going to make an example of you in the press, the liberal media, whatever you want to call it. They're going to make an example of you. You're going to be made ashamed. And when you get out, you're going to have to find a job or something in a crumbling society. See, that's stupid. And that's the mentality of a white man who's sitting back from it all and doesn't have to deal with it. See what I'm saying? But if you got boots on the street, you carrying out the dead and you're reading the numbers and you're reading the names and all that, It's real hard for somebody to fool you. Because here's the thing, you can be fooled and you might catch it. You're gonna know soldiers they're gonna catch it. You're gonna know soldiers who have family members who have died of this. So most of these guys are not gonna mutiny. Most of these guys are not gonna do that. It's gonna be hard as hell to keep the disease out of the prisons. Why would you want to do something to get locked up in a prison so you can catch it? This is stuff that white people with money and white people who just love everything Trump does and white people who hate science, this is just nonsense for them because they don't care. That's what I realized. It's not about Trump being right or wrong. They don't care. They've got health insurance. They've got this, that, and the other. They don't care if the whole world burns. So what? People in Brazil get it. So what if Russia gets it? So what if China gets it? So what? They don't care. They don't care about that. They don't care. See, look, this is what we got to understand. The way they feel about China and Russia and all that is the way they feel about black people. When you understand that we're in a different country, just like them Russians and Germans are, you'll understand the Trumpsters. You'll understand Trump's people. And you'll understand what you're really facing. Because you're facing people who feel like it's their country anyway. They tolerate us. They don't respect us. They never did. It was tolerating us. Peace.